So this video is for the sake of trolling, and I'm going to talk about all the things that are excellent about being a woman. So, I am 40 years old. Here are the things that are excellent about being a woman that I know for a fact a surgeon cannot accommodate. Let's see, where should we start? I have a picture of a girl who is now 12 when she was 1 millimeter big and hiding in my uterus, and she popped and she was visible after 6 weeks. And that was my second scan because I had had, we think, 3 miscarriages, but it could, like, we don't actually know because they were all quite early. And the first time I got pregnant, and I knew I was pregnant because I had been pregnant several times and not known that I was pregnant, I had until that point never ever ever wanted a baby. I had 2 stepchildren in their teens and I was looking forward to them leaving home so that I could go travelling. The minute I found out I was pregnant with the second miscarriage, we think, and then I lost that, that was a biological imperative. My entire being wanted to have a baby. And it took 2.5 years of trying and miscarriages and pissing on sticks and home sperm testing kits and appointments with the doctor, and eventually I got pregnant and I took aspirin to keep the pregnancy stable, which actually worked, by the way. I didn't miscarry. While I was pregnant, I felt a baby grow inside me. About 13, 14 weeks, I felt like somebody was blowing bubbles in my uterus, and I actually became aware of my uterus because somebody was blowing bubbles in it. It wasn't, it was a baby kicking. By the time I finished work, there were foster carers who looked like they wanted to put plastic down on their couch before I sat down because I was like a teeny little whale. And you could see a foot sticking out of my belly, or a bum. I used to pat her bum while she was in my belly, and she used to kick cups of tea that I used to put on. When she was born, it was like wearing my heart on the outside. I became aware of every single sharp fucking object in the universe. I wanted to baby-proof the universe, and I found out that nobody cared and that my identity no longer mattered. That child, I woke up a split second before she did. Every single time she woke up till she was 3.5, 4, possibly nearer 4. I woke up a split second before her, even if we were on a different floor in the house, even if we were in a different building. I knew to wake up before she did. My breast fed that child till she was 15 months old. Well, only really her main source of food for the first 6, but after that, you know. And my boobs figured out my working pattern, so I only had to express at work for 3 or 4 weeks. And then I didn't have to express, which was quite good because I was expressing in the fucking filing room, and half a Bradford Social Services has seen my tits hanging in a bloody milking machine. I have a clitoris. Women have a clitoris. A clitoris is not a tiny little thing. A clitoris is a fucking big thing, and it goes right the way in, and it's entirely designed for pleasure, and men don't have one of those. Economists, philosophers, religions, they're all wrapped around trying to explain what they can't explain, which is how the human race and society reproduces itself. And the thing that they can't explain happens in my body. Because that is the means of production for the entire fucking economy and society. Women have been owned throughout history, and I am one of the first generation of women where that's not the case. This is a major deal. In order for me to be one of the first generation of women who knows that's not the case, I have to be able to recognise male pattern abusive behaviour. I have to be able to recognise predatory behaviour. I need systems and laws that uphold my right to exit abuse. I need systems and laws that uphold my right to protect my child from male pattern abusive behaviour. And in the 20th century, women got those laws for me so that I didn't have to fucking ask for them. The first thing that trans rights activists went after was domestic abuse victims, rape victims, services that deal with violence, and those services That's how we knew you were men. The rage that they feel when we say no, that's what power relations have looked like for women throughout history. That's actually the face of it. The face of trans rights activism is the face of every man who's wanted to own a woman. You can't own us, you can't subordinate us, you can't identify us and demand that our identity is subordinated because we're women. No qualifying needed. And if you have a problem with any aspect of that, that's because you're a misogynist and you're probably dangerous. I like being a woman. There's a lot that comes with it that's shit. I don't like being poor. I don't like the fucking shit that I get. I don't like the way men speak to me. I don't like much of it. I don't like the way that our society is organised around an old situation where women are owned, and I think our generation are going to have to work hard to undo that for our daughters. But I like being a woman. I like that the tiny little baby that started off where she was a millimetre big and I didn't know if I could stay pregnant, I like that she's going to be twice the woman I ever am. You'll never ever try this again. Ever. Women have just stood up to every fucking institution in this country and said, you will listen to us. And we're not doing it. We're just going to have to keep doing it. We're not letting it get to this state again. Not ever.